All right, hey everybody, Mark Burgess here, B.A.S.S Fishing. How's everybody doing? So I'm still out in the boat barn here, so I figured I might as well have a conversation regarding um, the reduced number of boats competing in the Bassmaster, first Bassmaster Open and the first MLF. These are, what's been called the AAA version of the next step down, Opens, Toyota Series, what have you. So this is more like an open discussion, just kind of me just saying what pops in my head. There's a number of reasons for this. Certainly, I've heard some talk about the co-angler situation, how that's affecting the number of boats. But in these next lower level tournaments, which in my opinion are professional bass tournaments, a lot like the top tier of MLF and the Elite Series, because there's so much on the line. Fishing for $50,000 to $100,000, fishing for a shot to qualify for the Bassmasters Classic, or to make the MLF tour. And I have to apologize. I don't know all the exact terminology on that side because I don't fish it, and to be honest with you, I don't pay all that much attention to that side. A little bit I do, but not as much as the bass side. So, nevertheless, the next level down from their top tier, okay? So they're professional tournaments, in my opinion. And they're very difficult to compete in. Nevertheless, win one. So never mind, making a top 10 or winning it. So, that competition level is extremely tough. Not taking anything away from the guys that are on the Elite Series, on the MLF Pro Tour right now. They've earned their place there. They're incredible anglers, and they've made it to the top tier of bass fishing, the sport of tournament bass fishing. But that next level down, you have a pretty strong mix of full-time touring pros from the top level, all the local and regional hammers that are fishing those events, guys that have fished, if there was room, and it looks like there was, if you wanted to jackpot one of those, if you're local. I think the first Open was on Murray, and on the east side and the central side, they're there pretty much right now, I believe, practicing for on Rayburn, okay? So Rayburn's shaping up to be an absolute slugfest. It just looks like conditions are going to line up to where the big fish are going to move up, and they're just going to crush them, okay? That's kind of leading me into why I think, that first event on the east side, if you will, only had 160 something boats, and the Opens will take, 220, 224 boats, something like that. You had your choice of, if you were looking to do either one of those, where would you rather fish, right? So Murray turned out to be, and I hope that's where they were. I'm pretty sure that's where they were. That was going to be a live scope deal. Even though a lot of fish, I believe were caught, other ways, cranking points, things like that. Some guys did well. But Rayburn's shaping up to be just, old school, just, if they move up, chatterbait, jig, just this absolute whack fest, flipping, that kind of deal, But so the lack of boats, I think we're getting to, it's more of, and again, this is just, I'm thinking out loud. I'm just, whatever comes to my head here. So I think we've got to the place where there's not enough anglers willing to fish that top level. They're at a place to fish that top level, to have completely full fields of 200 plus boats. Okay, so that I think has more to do with it than anything. I really do. We might have just seen where things are going to level off a little bit, and I think you'll see the tours make some adjustments to the number of angles. I know MLF wants to get to a top 50, and that could be as early as next year. That's been talked about for decades. That is the top level, you know, and the analogy is, well, look at NASCAR, 43 cars or whatever it is, you know, are in a typical cup race. And there's a lot more showing up to try to make it, you know, which is healthy. But that's just, I think that's healthy. That's good competition. You know, I don't know if you'll see the Elite Series, you know, at 50. You have to have the support system, and then you'll see those tiers, those opens and what have you, fill up for sure, you know, regardless of what side of the country they're on, what lake they're on. And I think, you know, MLF has started with that, and I think you're going to see some positive, you know, numbers when they do go full out and cut the number of anglers on the very top level. Certainly, you know, it's just as competitive or even more so on the sponsorship side. You know, endemic sponsors are getting extremely difficult to come by, and you really got to bring it if you want to secure one of those sponsors and have enough funds provided to do this. I mean, look at what's going on right now. You have a number of anglers on the Elite Series. I mean, Scott Martin, to name one, Brandon Polinick, another, that have basically Iaconelli film crews, film boats that travel, people that are there to film, edit, and help produce content on a regular basis. Not only, you know, for, you know, weekly social media, but, you know, expanded, you know, YouTube channels, you know, with an hour or two content, podcast, you know, it's a lot. That's a full-time job in itself. Okay, so these guys are hiring. They have employees that are helping them pull this off. Okay, so what does that bring to the table for a sponsorship? I mean, that's what you're competing against. Okay, that level of content and exposure. I mean, back in my day, I mean, I had it covered. I had it going on, and I was there. I had a half a dozen outdoor writers that I worked with on a regular basis. 3 or 4 that were like constant, okay? And it was just having outdoor writer events and going to outdoor writer events put on by my sponsors. I would actually put on outdoor writer events myself. I would actually go meet them, and we would do storylines and pictures, and that got into Bassmaster Magazine, Bass Times, you know, Outdoor Life, you know, On the Water, Northwoods Outfitters. I mean, just a number of different publications, and then there was a list. Started to get into a little bit of online stuff, but it was website based pretty much. So you had stuff I was writing for On the Water. There was stuff being published in Bassmaster on their website. That's what you needed, okay? There was really no social media like we are experiencing now. Okay, so you had to have all the bases covered. You know, my truck was wrapped, my boat was wrapped, the jersey matched. I was doing, like I said, the outdoor writer program and print, and I would have to show proof of this and, you know, documented, backed it up with the number of impressions. You know, outdoor shows, doing seminars, you know, meet and greets, you know, going to tackle shop openings, all of that. Okay, I was right there with what everybody else was doing, and that's why, you know, I was successful in that sponsorship game at the time. So now it's just a whole nother level. So all this, my point is, you need to bring it. I mean, it's just as competitive now for the social media, not social media, but but sponsorship. Okay, who's going to get the dollars? Who's going to get the sponsorship enough to offset the cost of competing in the sport? Okay, and a number of guys, you know, are there and then some, and then everybody else is just trying to compete with that. I mean, just take a look at YouTube, for example. I mean, not too long ago, you needed to do like a video a week with a couple of shorts mixed in. Now it's a major video, you know, 10, 15, 20-minute video every day mixed in with the shorts. And then you, of course, you know, you're tagging it in and supporting it with Facebook and Instagram and what have you. Yeah, it's just the bar has been leveled. So all that to be said, you know, if you're working a job or you have a family, you know, it's tough. I just think everything has risen to the point of all in or nothing. Okay, it's getting tough to just kind of dabble on the outsides of this stuff and make a serious run at it. So I think that has a lot to do with it as well. But I really think we've kind of reached those number of anglers that can do that, that want to do that, are willing to do that. You know, we're seeing on the nation side, the Mass Bass Nation side, that, yeah, it's kind of like boiled down to just a handful of guys. I mean, we're lucky to get 20, 24 boats that are willing to compete on our Pro-Am trail, which, I mean, you got to bring it. I mean, we got some hammers fishing that, and there's a lot on the line this year. But everybody else in the nation, that's not their dream, that's not their desire to do that, to go as far as you possibly can, to qualify for a regional qualifier, to qualify for a national, to hopefully go to the Classic. Okay, that's a commitment. Okay, so we're seeing less people that are willing to do that. Not being negative, it's just reality. I mean, look at how expensive everything is, and again, you're going to kind of, you know, weed out a lot of people, and you're going to, you know, come up with a lot less people who are willing to do that or can do that. So, and that just follow that right up through the high school, college, the opens. Yeah, I think you're going to see some adjustments there, and it's constantly being adjusted, you know. But let me know your thoughts. I could probably keep rambling on for a while here, but let me know your thoughts on why you think we're at this point we're at now. And I'm not being negative. It is what it is. Okay, it's all positive. It's all good stuff. There's opportunity. You know, I mean, last year, I mean, you weren't getting an open. I already know what you were getting if you had a manufacturer slot or something like that, or you were going to fish all of them, you know, all 9, if you will. Now, I like what B.A.S.S has done with the opens, where now there's 2 divisions, 4 tournaments, which I like 4 tournaments, a lot better than 3 if you're competing on a points schedule. You get 4 tournaments, say, on the East, 4 tournaments in the Central. You know, if you're trying to be qualify for Elite Series angler, if you're trying to be an EQ angler, so you compete on those 4 on the East and or the Central. If you're in the top 50, you go to the 3 tournaments late summer, early fall to hopefully qualify to be Elite Series angler. So if you fish the East, those 4 in the East, if you win one of them and you fish all 4, okay, you're qualified to go to the Classic. All right, that's a big deal. If you fish all 4, if you don't win one and you're in the top 50 in the points, now you've qualified to fish those 3 to hopefully grab an Elite Series slot if that's your goal. Okay, there's a number of guys who are fishing all 8. Okay, so to double their chances, 8 chances to win, 2 chances to be in the top 50 to make it to those 3 tournaments to compete for an Elite Series berth. Okay, so I like that. I like that a lot. So hopefully they'll keep that in place for next year, because we are leaning towards going that direction this fall. Okay, so that's the plan anyway. So that's where we're at. Again, I appreciate your time, and let me know your thoughts on this, and you know, why you think we're where we're at. What do you think we can do about it? What do you think some of the changes are going to be from the major organizations going forward? I mean, I didn't even mention NPFL, you know, what they did. I thought that, you know, you saw a number of guys are fishing both. So not to go back and forth here, but number of guys that like, you know, fishing without forward-facing sonar, fishing that in addition to the Elite Series or MLF, you know, the Pro Tour. So let me know what you think. All right, as always, I appreciate everybody. Do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you all in the water real soon.